Moving on to the number one spot of my top 3 first ladies. And since a king among presidents needs a queen among first ladies, it is of course the one, the only Mrs. Eleanor Roosevelt. October 11th, 1884, she was born, Anna Eleanor Roosevelt. And yeah, she didn't have to change her name. See, she was the niece of Teddy Roosevelt, and since FDR was also related to Teddy Roosevelt, that made FDR and Eleanor fifth cousins once removed. I mean, it's enough separation, so it's not that weird, but fits with my king and queen analogy, right? So in 1905, she married FDR and was escorted down the aisle by Teddy. It was a real family affair. Now, despite being the mother of 6 children, 5 of whom survived, she was very active in her husband's political career starting in 1910. Not only was she actively involved in Democratic Party politics, she was an activist in the Union Women's Trades League and the League of Women Voters. She was also a teacher at a private girls' school and co-founded a non-profit furniture company called Valkill Industries. When FDR was diagnosed with polio and lost his ability to walk, she tended to him, and after some recovery time, encouraged his return to politics, where he went on to win the White House. And it was at this point that Eleanor Roosevelt went on to create what we now consider the First Lady to be. Being the strong, independent woman that she was, she decided to forego the traditional socialite roles of a First Lady, and instead take a very visible, upfront, active part in FDR's administration. She championed civil rights and human rights and the arts. She traveled around the country and met with people and local government organizations to bring first-hand knowledge back to the White House. She held press conferences for female reporters who weren't allowed at traditional White House press conferences because they were women. Through the Second World War, she traveled to Europe to meet with soldiers who were fighting overseas. She advocated for the rights of European refugees displaced by the war and worked to boost morale both abroad and at home during the trying times. By the time of FDR's passing, Eleanor had been the most openly politically engaged First Lady in our nation's history. And she could have stopped there with her place solidly secured in the history books. But nah, she was far too badass for that. And she eventually went on to chair the Human Rights Committee. And fearing no man, she called out racism at home all the time, going as far as resigning her position from the Daughters of the Revolution for not allowing African American performers to perform at their events. She was such a bad bitch that the Klan put a $25,000 bounty on her head for her support of an anti-lynching campaign in 1960. But having been a member of the NAACP since 1934, threats from a bunch of Christian nationalists and ghost costumes their mommies sewed up for them wasn't really something that concerned her. So Eleanor Roosevelt redefined what a First Lady could and should be, and left a long and impressive legacy both before and after her time in the White House that could never be covered in a 3-minute video. But her dedication to human rights and her lasting impact on the world is why she is my number 1 First Lady. If you like the content, you can support the page by buying merch. Go to offtowagon.com and check it out. Link is under my link tree in my bio. Love y'all.